This is the Pathway to Change podcast. All right, welcome, Jonathan.
Thanks a lot.
I'm going to start by asking you how you like Oslo.
Oslo has been treating us amazing. We have this amazing weather. We couldn't ask for anything else. The people, I think, is going to enjoy the event. Today they did it. And this weather is the best we can have, like, for our sport. Because, when you have, like, these conditions, it make it a little bit more interesting. And I will say it easier. It's not easier, but it make it easier for us.
Okay, so just for those who don't know, you are a professional cliff diver. That's the term, right?
Yeah.
So, and you're here for the Red Bull cliff diving competition, which is every year in Norway.
Well, this is the fourth, if I'm okay, this is the fourth time we come to Norway, but we've been before to Kragerø. So the last time in Kragerø was 2014 or 15, and we're coming back to Oslo. And last year was like an exhibition, still with this COVID situation. We couldn't make it, all of us, because of the restrictions of the country. But finally, we are all of us here together.
Back to normal.
Exactly.
Perfect. So what's the story? How did you end up becoming a cliff diver?
It was actually pretty funny. I was now on the taxi with the person who come here with me, and I was telling her that cliff diving just came to my life, like, I don't know, just because, like, I think it was just a destiny. I was a regular diver. I've been amateur diver until I was 14 years old, and in one of these competitions, I had an invitation from one of the judges to be part of one diving show in an amusement park in Mexico City. So I found it very interesting because I was 14, almost 15, and I will have a work doing the sport that I've been doing my whole life. I'm gonna be paid, and I'm gonna be enjoying, like, the whole weekend, So it sounds like the perfect plan for me. Like, when you're 14, 15 years old, like, if you have a salary, I think it's worth it for everyone.
When I was 14, I was chucking around newspapers, and you got the job cliff diving, which you
Exactly.
already loved.
Exactly.
How come you? Because you were you like because you grew up in Mexico City?
Yes.
So how did you? Was it like the hobby of your group of friends to
Oh,
go
no,
diving?
no! It
or-
wasn't a hobby. I was actually, like, making the dream to be Olympic diver.
Really? So
I was a diver. I used to do springboard on 3 meters because I was afraid of heights.
Really?
I know it sounds very unfamiliar to what I do now, but I was afraid of 10 meters height, so I get focused on 3 meters, and yeah, I was actually training for that. It's diving is a big sport in Mexico. It's been pretty good for the last 40 years. A lot of Olympic medals, World Championships medals. So of course it was part of my life, and I wanted to do it.
Yeah. So growing up in Mexico, diving is so you have role models who are also divers, and you watch on television when a Mexican diver wins a medal. And
Exactly.
okay, so probably quite a competition among different divers and all the kids.
Yeah, there was, like, a lot of divers in Mexico, the whole country. I grew up in Mexico City, but the whole country is pretty famous on diving. People really likes diving, and we have, like, role models, on the TV, as you said before. Many Olympic divers that you can see on the TV, and you got, like, I don't know, in the DNA, it's just like, oh, I want to be like him, or I want to be like her, because um, honestly, Mexico has pretty good divers through the years. So, people probably it's normal to do football because you see football everywhere on the TV, so the kids like it. But this is also a sport that the people can see a lot on the TV. So yeah, that's why I decide. Well, my mom took me to do swimming and then diving, um, yeah, I think the destiny just kept me to do cliff diving.
How was it that you had when you have a fear of heights? How did people convince you to go higher and higher?
I mean, like when you are 15 years old, people doesn't have to convince you, because you are in somehow. It's a difficult age because you are like afraid, but sometimes you don't care about the danger or what's gonna happen to you if you go like through that height. So I think it was. I will say always that it was my best school. Like do these diving shows in the amusement park because I was doing this work with all my friends. And we start doing these heights slowly, step by step, all together, playing around, even doing bets about who's going to do the best dive during the day. So I think it was kind of the best school I had for do this cliff diving. And I'm super happy about it.
So when you do cliff diving today, how tall is it? How high?
27 meters.
27
Yeah.
meters.
Yeah.
How for someone like me who's never I've never even done the 10 meter.
Mhm.
When I go swimming, I take the ladder. What's the how dangerous is it to go 27 meters?
It is. It is too dangerous, and you don't even need to go that high. I've seen people having like pretty bad injuries from 10 meters or even from 3 meters. But it is. We are falling at 90 kilometers an hour, and the impact with the water is very hard. Like I mean, you're having like a free fall of 90 kilometers an hour, and then you stop in 3 seconds. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard, and every time you go there, you just want to be everything to be good, like to be safe. That's what we said actually before we started competition. We hug each other, all of us, and we wish like a safe competition, safe dives, and to be over in a good way to all of us.
What kind of like what are the if it's okay talking about it right before you are diving, but what kind of injuries could happen, or what are the common?
Well, the most common injuries on high diving could be um I don't know if I'm gonna remember the word in English, but the tailbone.
The tailbone.
Yeah, you can just
You fracture
split it
your.
apart or
Yeah.
fracture. That's
Is
one
that
of.
if you land on your back then, or is it?
You don't need to land on your back. Actually, you enter into the water, your legs can go apart, and that causes the
Of
that the
course.
tailbone
So you really
separate
need to
to go straight.
You need to go straight,
Yeah.
and you need to keep your legs
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Because if
Yeah.
the water gets between
Yeah.
them, it's like a wedge.
Yeah, and that happened to a lot of people. What happened to me last year? I just break this muscle, the adductor. Just break it because one of my legs, only one of them, just went apart, and I almost touched my face with the ankle,
Really?
and just the muscle was like
Torn.
broken. Yeah. That's also
So
like
so you did a normal jump, but your feet landed a little bit apart, and
not is the feet just landed apart. It's just like probably something went wrong in the air, or you didn't keep the legs together, or you were not like as strong as you have to be on that moment. So your leg just come apart, and it's a pretty like common injury in all of us. And I will say another one. Lately, the shoulders are getting like more common because we land into the water with our arms like this in this position.
Okay, so your arms like folded down on the front of your
So
body.
a lot of divers are having this kind of injuries that when you go to the water and then you do the entry, the shoulders just come apart, with with all the impact, and they have like pretty bad injuries on the shoulders.
So if you kind of get water between your shoulder and your body, or your arm and your body, and the arm is lifted, kind of.
Yeah, it's not just the water; it's all about the impact. Like it's a really really hard impact. So if you don't keep your full body, as put the example of the phone, like if you don't keep it all together, like when you throw something to the water, when you throw a rock, the rock, like if it stays together, it will go through the bottom, like straight away. If you break the rock and you throw the pieces, like they're gonna be apart.
Yeah.
So it's not like a proper landing. So that's how we try to manage the entry. Like it has to be only one piece. Like everything has to stick together, and then there is less risk to have an injury.
Have there been any deaths in cliff diving?
Not yet, and hopefully it will never happen. But we've seen a lot of people getting unconscious in the water because they land pretty short and they hit the face, and it's like if a boxer just knock you out.
Yeah.
And the worst thing that can happen to us is this scenario, because when a boxer just got knocked out, he just land on the ring and nothing happened. Like they go, they take care of him. But if we got unconscious underwater, we go to the bottom. So it's a little bit more risk of, if the scuba divers don't get you on that moment, you can just...
Yeah, so that's why you always, when you land, you always see lots of people in the water
divers
with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't float up, because there's so much force
I
downwards.
mean, you float, but when you're conscious, like, I mean, it's the normal, like, thing you do. But when you are unconscious, like, your whole body's just dragging you, because also of the pressure, because of the impact, because of the speed that you had. So if you got knocked out, you go through the bottom, you can't breathe, you can't do nothing.
Scary.
So it's I've seen a lot of that, and it's pretty scary.
So when you had that injury, was it last year?
Last year.
Last year, where you tore a muscle, and how does that affect you?
I had to stop the series. I had to stop competing because the doctor told me that he can give me some medicine. He can give me something just to avoid the pain. But he told me, if you make it worse, it's going to take you out for not only for 6 months, but it's going to take you out probably for 2 years, because we have to do an operation. It has to heal, and you need to get that strength again. So it's going to be longer, and it's going to be like a long procedure. So better to stop, better to let it heal, and you will be better for next year.
How did that feel to have
to... It feels pretty bad. It was actually the first time it happened to me. It was my first official injury, and it was pretty bad. It's really bad to accept it. It's very difficult, but I think it's also part of the life. Like you can't avoid these kind of things. Like you are always thinking like, okay, I don't want to be injured, but you can't avoid it. It's just like, it will happen.
Did you have any trouble, or because a lot of people I don't know if a lot of people, but I know this from my own experience. I fell from when I was young, from a height, and after that I got much worse fear of height. So how was it mentally to do the tall dives again after you had an injury?
And not even, I think the injury was the like the smallest problem I had last year. At the beginning of the year, I had an accident on one of the competitions. I didn't start actually the World Series. It happened during the training. I don't know if you see like a couple of videos and of what we do. I guess you were watching. You can see us like twisting and flipping in the air, and you can see that everything is under control. Last year, I had an accident during the training. I lose the control of my dive in the air, so I get lost.
Okay, so you suddenly don't know where you are.
I had no idea where I was during the flipping or the twisting. I was twisting, and I land on my back. Everything was okay. Like physically, I was okay.
From how high was that?
27. Oh, same. So physically, I was okay. Of course, I had a couple of bruises and some soreness after this accident, but mentally, I still struggling, and that happened in June last year.
June last year, but still you struggle, and not so the injury hasn't affected you mentally, but this accident. Why do you think there's a
because
difference?
The injury it's an injury. You know it's gonna heal. Like if you do everything right, if you do your therapy, if you do what the doctor says, everything is going to be there again. But the mental health and the problem in your mind is way it's way bigger than that. Because I try to explain it a lot of times in Spanish and English, and it's like I always get through the point, like for the people to understand what I feel still a couple of times. It's like, just imagine yourself waking up in the morning from your bed, and then you go like, okay, I need to go to the toilet. I know how I need to walk. I know the way to the toilet, but I have no idea how to start walking. I know once I start walking, I will control it. But right now, I have no idea how to start walking. I know I can do it, but I have no idea how to start.
So like the starting part.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's not walking, but it's
yeah, it's like start twisting or flipping.
twisting.
Yeah.
So, but can you do it now?
I did my dive, the one that I have my accident. I just did it in my last competition in Denmark.
Really?
So I passed through this.
That was like a block for you.
Yeah. Still a little bit, but now that I did it, it's way less. But still, like sometimes I feel like, okay, I have no idea how to start, but now I remember that I did it. So everything is kind of working. But
okay, so the block was for one particular trick.
Yeah.
And
that was keeping me away to do all my other tricks. Okay. Because I was blocked with that one, and I wasn't able to do the others.
Really? Congratulations on doing it last competition.
Yeah, thank you.
How did that feel?
It feels great. Yeah, I took a while trying this, like training it. And I came with one of my best friends to Austria to do it there before the competition, and it works. So I think I will say that I'm very happy about it. But still, I need to gain more confidence on this dive.
So for a long period, then you were kind of struggling since you had this mental block, and could you do any diving at all, or could you do like easier tricks? Or
I used to train like I could train normally, even this trick, because our dives are separate in two pieces, like what we do in a normal pool, because we never train 27 meters every day. That's not possible, and physically possible is not. It's out of being possible to do it every day. So we normally train in a regular pool, like the highest we have is 10 meters. So I've been doing the first part, which is the most important. It was totally controlled, but one of my other problems was the height. Like I knew if I have a bad landing from 10 meters, it wouldn't be that bad. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt me, and it's gonna be painful. But it's not gonna be the same that if it happens again from 27 meters. And the main thing is, I am more afraid that this can happen again. Not for what can happen, like regarding injuries or whatever. I am more worried about if this is gonna happen again, or if this can happen again, how is gonna be my mental block again. So it's where I have my biggest issue.
Yeah, you're more worried about your career, maybe.
Yeah,
than,
exactly.
Because diving is your life.
Yeah, yeah.
So in the process of overcoming this block, and I guess you are still working on. It's not like it's a finished job, but can you think of like practices or routines or work that you did that helped you?
For first time in my life, I start working with a psychologist. She helps me a lot. But I've been sticking only to my same things, to my same routine, to do what I used to do before my accident, and that's what keeps me away from thinking that, and I think I'm gonna continue doing that. I'm not sure what I have to do, if I can do something else. but for now I'm just sticking to what I do before.
And so that's one of the things I'm very interested in this podcast is kind of how different people kind of maintain their mental health, or how you sustain it, I guess. So what are some important things that you do in your life?
To be honest, I have no idea. It's just like I try to convince myself that what I do is what I love, and that's the main reason why I'm here. Even if I'm scared, even if I'm regretting myself to do this, it's what I love and it's what I like to do. So, I think it's just like I think it's that what keeps me alive on this sport. Like even knowing that it's very risky, that is very I don't know, um, dangerous. I think it's just keeping me there, like this love to my sport.
Is it because you said that you convince yourself
Mm,
that it's something that you love? Is it something you have to convince yourself to, or is it? Do you understand what I mean? Is it?
yeah,
Do you have to work at it, or is it natural to you to
I
love
think
the
it's
sport?
natural because I love this part of my life. Like being traveling the world, being in front of all the crowd in Norway. I love that part. I love being the one of the main characters of the event.
Mm.
Um, but every time I'm super scared. Like
Mm.
I love all what is around, but I'm always like super scared. Like, what am I doing here? Like, why I do this?
That's very
Mm,
interesting. Do you think it's? Mm, do you have some? What do you when you go there and you're feeling scared? How do you deal with that? How do you? Because a lot of people
mm,
have to deal with scary things, and some do it really well, like you, I guess, and manage to do it. And some people end up avoiding
mm.
things that they are scared by. What is your what do you think makes you good at doing it?
I think it's just like that part of the adrenaline that keeps me alive. Like,
Mm.
okay, I know that everything can be bad. I know that everything can be good, but in the end, it's just that adrenaline that tells me, like, come on, you can do this. You do this like a lot of times.
Mm.
It's only one more time and you're gonna be done. So I guess it's a lot of things going on,
Mm.
and but I think it's more the love to my sport. I think it's
Mm.
what it keeps me there. Like,
Mm.
because probably if I could do something else, probably will do it. Um, but I know high diving or cliff diving is it's my main reason to be here.
Mm. So it's like it's kind of feels like a it's something. It's part of your identity. You've
Mm-hmm.
done it your whole
Mm-hmm.
life,
Yeah.
and it feels like you're here now in a situation where you're very successful, competing with the best in the world, traveling around the world, and you love it.
Mm.
You love all the different parts of it, and the it feels like it's been building up, and now it's 27 meters, and it's dangerous and it's scary, but you are willing to commit that sacrifice
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in order to. I think that's inspiring.
Mm. Yeah, it's just like I know a lot of people, for example, who tells me like, yeah, I love what I study, I love my work, I love my life, but I'm not happy 100%. Um I'm happy 100%, like even knowing all the risk I have. Um Man, this part of my life, just like the travel, the people, coming here to do this podcast, it means that, I mean, we are doing something interesting, and we are doing something that we like. And I don't know, it's just a bunch of things that are keeping me there.
Hmm,
Mm.
that's awesome. I have a question that I often ask of the guest. I think it's an interesting question. It's very open. So,
Mm.
um, in what ways have you changed in your life?
In what ways?
Or in what way?
Mm, I think wow, it's complicated because for some um that probably are not my friends or my real friends, for some I am someone um millionaire, I am someone arrogant, I am someone who travels the world because they think it is easy what we do. And for some I am like, I will say, they see me as a stupid because it's like, yeah, Jonathan travels and Jonathan is always showing photos wherever he goes, but it's like, yeah, but I got everything for free. I don't spend any money. Red Bull pays for everything. Wherever I go, all these fancy hotels or all these fancy restaurants, I never spend money on that. I couldn't have this life if I wouldn't be doing this, you know? So I think for the people I change on that side. Like, they see me as only the people who loves me and that really knows what I do. They know, like, okay, he's in Norway, he's competing, blah blah. They never think on that. They never think on the easy part, what we
Mm.
show on the pictures. So I think I change in that way for some of the people.
But that's not a real change in your character, kind of.
In my career, no, on all my personal human being,
Mm.
I never changed because I've been always the same, you know, like, I'm a really humble person. I don't like to show up. It's part of my work. I need to show up because you know, social media right now is very important for many brands.
Yeah, it's
For
part of the
many,
job.
so it is part of my job. So that's
Mm.
what the people doesn't understand. But if I have to say that if something changed or well, yeah.
You feel like you have this strong core that doesn't really change, or haven't, or have has any has any part of that, like, it could be in a good way also.
Mhm.
So have you kind of, in what way have you, are you different? Maybe more mature now than when you were.
I will say definitely mature. I will say definitely mature and more open uh, to everything because I grew up in a neighborhood in Mexico from like very low profile. You know, my family is like, they are pretty low profile, and I never imagined myself traveling the world. I never imagined being speaking English. I never imagined being in 5 continents. I never imagined this life. You know, like we had something funny in we were in Boston in the first competition of the year, and I found one of the camera guys. We were going up on the same time to the rooms, and for me and for himself was we start talking about Paris, that it will be the next competition, and the lift was full. So we were just in our planet, like, hey, when you are arriving in Paris, yeah, I'm getting there on Thursday. Just going back to Austria to leave something, and I was like, yeah, I'm going back to Mexico. I'm gonna drop my luggage, and I'm gonna take another one to go to Paris. But it's our life. It's normal for us, and people was just like listening to us, you know, like, so these guys are just traveling to Austria and to Mexico, and they are gonna meet in Paris. Like, for the people, is not normal, you know, like that kind of traveling is not normal because normally people organize their holidays or something to go and travel, and for us it's just our work. Like, we are here in Norway, but on Sunday we're going to Italy, and then from Italy we're going to Bosnia. So I think that part of my life makes me grew up. It makes me more mature. It makes me see um more of the world, different religions, cultures. And I really appreciate that because it changed my mind a lot. Um, Especially coming from Mexico, you know, because Mexico is it's I love my country, but it's difficult. You know, we have a lot of violence. We have many bad things. We have also good things, but it's we have a lot of bad things, and that gives me at least um a lot of reasons to see the world a little bit different
Mm.
than the others.
So the fact that you've been able to travel so much, that
Mm.
has really, you said, changed your mind and made you more open
Yeah.
and more. That's really because people talk about it, how traveling is like very character building, and
Hmm.
I think that's true. And it's interesting how you put that.
Yeah, because normally
Mm.
when you go for
Mm.
holidays, like people is always like, "Oh yeah, I love to travel the world, and I love to jump in the plane, and I love to be everywhere." And it's like, yeah, it's pretty awesome to travel, but when you do it for work and when you do it very often, um, it's still funny, it's still nice, but it's very tired. It's very tired
Mm.
to be traveling. Pack today, just unpack on Monday, back again on Friday because you're traveling again.
Mm.
It's very very tired, and you can't see your family. I've seen a lot of relationships like just broken because we just travel too much.
Mm.
So it's a little bit difficult. It
Yeah, I
is.
can tell. Yeah,
Mm.
I can see that. How is your relationships, and where do you find home?
Uh, I used to live in Madrid for 9 years. I was married there,
Mm.
and I finished my relation in October last year. The last year was the worst year of my life, to be honest.
Really?
With the accident, with the injury, I finished my relationship with my ex-wife. So since October last year, I went back to Mexico. So
So now
after,
you live in Mexico
yeah,
again? Mm.
after 9 years living in Madrid,
Mm.
I love Madrid, and I would love to stay there. But yeah, for now, I'm back in Mexico.
So how is your life nowadays? Is it better than last year?
Honestly, right now I'm just a little bit lost still. I
Really?
think I'm just trying to figure out, like, cuz right now if I have to say um that if I feel like I'm in home, I don't really feel like that cuz my home was Madrid for 9 years, and
Mm.
it's where I found my place. So now it's like being back and just I'm building again.
You're building again. So
Mm,
you had to kind
mm,
of start anew, and
yeah.
so you're back in Mexico now, but still traveling the world.
Yeah.
So maybe it's harder to get settled then.
Yeah. I will say I have my clothes in Mexico for now.
Your clothes are
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Mexico,
Yeah.
but it doesn't really feel like a home yet.
No, no, no. Not even
Mm.
close.
Mm.
Not even close.
Why did you decide to go back to Mexico?
Because I mean I love Europe, and I love the lifestyle that you guys have in Europe, and Madrid was an amazing place, amazing city to live. Um but I just decided that, I mean, if Europe was the only reason, or my ex-wife was the only reason why I was living in Europe, there was no any more reasons.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
that's why I decided.
something. Home is home, kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah,
And
yeah,
your family lives
yeah. My
in.
family
Mm.
lives in Mexico City, but I'm living in Guadalajara, which is like 45 minutes away by plane.
Mm. I will try to summarize a little bit. So, um, when you were 14,
Mm-hmm.
growing up in Mexico City,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of fulfilled your dream of
Yeah,
working with
yeah,
diving,
yeah.
and it's been going really amazing. You've been
Mm-hmm.
very
Mm-hmm.
successful, winning prizes and titles, and traveling the world. And but I really found that the interesting is that you've focused on keeping kind of your core, even though all the all the traveling, all the social media stuff. You're still. I sense that you're still the same Mexican man.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you think this is something I thought of before? But do you think it's difficult to work with social media the way you do?
it is. It is because unfortunately, social media became um one of the main, let's call it, ways of working. um and in somehow you sometimes fall into that part of the life which is faking somehow, you lose your essence, you lose who you are, because you don't really show who you are in your social media. I like to show who I am, because that's what I want the people sees from me. But also I need to show sometimes what they want to see.
Yeah, because there are these mechanics. You get rewarded for certain types of pictures or certain types of posting. And I think that mechanic there is quite taxing in a way, or difficult to deal with.
It is very difficult, especially because you need to feel loved from the people. And in fact, you don't need that.
Exactly.
Like, you don't need to be loved from someone that you don't even know. And that's a big problem. That's a big problem, because also, like, sponsorships or brands or whatever,
they all demand
that. And it's like, okay, you are Jonathan Paredes, the world champion, a very successful diver. Oh, but you have 400 likes. Sorry, we can't give you the sponsorship. So everything is reduced on that. Like, how much engagement you have with the social media, and not how much engagement you can give to the real people.
So someone who does the perfect dive, but refuses to have an Instagram, he will have less value for the brand.
Doesn't have a chance in the world, because now this world is all about social media.
And that would, so all jobs have requirements. So I can't go to the hospital and say I don't want to give medicines. So, but social media is it's kind of, I don't know, the mechanics there of doing it. It's a real challenge for the mental health, I think. What is? Do you have any tricks or any ways to deal with social media? So to keep sane?
Not really. To be honest, sometimes I just feel free to share how I feel, like in this moment. To share what I think. I fought a lot on Twitter. I like to fight on Twitter. I fight for good reasons, like never for something stupid. I really want to stop doing that, but in Twitter there is a lot of bad comments and bad things. But on Instagram, which is the one I use the most, I always try to show myself as I am. What I feel right now, it's what I want to show to the people. And if I feel like I don't want to share anything, I just disappear, and that's it.
Sounds healthy, I think. Okay, I want to thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
If people want to follow you, where can they reach you?
They can find me as Jonathan Paredes 89 on Instagram, Walls Jonathan 89 on Twitter, and Jonathan Paredes on Facebook.
Yeah, we will add the links in
for sure.
Show description.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
All right, perfect. Thanks for watching. What an episode, am I right? I want to ask you something. If you could please subscribe and like and comment and all that stuff. Of course, if you subscribe, you will get the notification when the new episode is out. So that will be good for you. But for me, it's really important to get these kind of little boosts to the algorithm, because this is a small Norwegian podcast, and it's really awesome when the work that we do here, promoting mental health, promoting change, is spread organically to all these little small parts of the world. That's really cool. So I hope you enjoy the content, and I would really appreciate it if you spread the word. Have a nice day.